right behind me is my 2021 Jeep Gladiator. Bought it fully stock and done quite a bit to it. So I'm just gonna take you through, it's an overview video of my build, all the parts I picked, how I like them so far, and I think it'd just be a good dialogue. You guys can let me know what you think of these parts as well, or maybe you had other parts that you chose opposed to what I did. Just wanna have a friendly conversation about it and just share my experience with this. But so far the Jeep's been amazing with the upgrades I've done. Got a lot more to go, but let's go check it out. All right, starting at the very front of the vehicle, we got ourselves a Motobilt stubby front bumper. So I love the thin profile of it. I didn't want anything that sticks out too far because I know as you get bigger tires, you're doing turns, it can rub those wheels. And I actually had a trail recently where I saw someone who had a full width. They literally were rubbing their tires on it because they just got bigger tires. So didn't want to go with that. So wrapped around my Motobilt bumper is a worn, what is it, Evo 10, VR10. It's a steel cable winch. Went with steel because it's a little bit cheaper. I know a lot of people do with a synthetic rope, which, look, I bought this a long time ago before I even had this Jeep, and I was on a budget. So I'm eventually going to upgrade this to synthetic rope, but hey, it's a good first option. Also got my front lights here. We have the LP4s from Baja Designs. So these have got a nice spotlight on the top and then like a more throw, I forget what they call it, but it's really wide throw. So it's just a solid light. And I went with amber because I think it cuts through the dirt a little bit better, the dust, you know, especially if you're not the first person in a row of Jeeps at night. I think the amber cuts down a little bit better than white does. Another thing right up front here, I've got my steering. So I went with the rock crawler steering. It's aluminum. So if I do hit some rocks, it'll bend back into place, which I have been known to do. Definitely a great steering system. And then right here, it's actually tied up. I kind of leave it tied up pretty much all the time, but it's a JKS quick sway bar disconnect. That way you're not constantly having to hit the electronic disconnect button, especially on a trail. I mean, you're like always stopping, going from 4 high to 2 high and whatnot. So that's nice because one, you get more flex at all times and you don't have to constantly be hitting that electronic disconnect button. Another thing I have that's kind of hard to see from this angle, I have an ARB, it's the diff cover, front diff cover. It's a lot thicker and they say it helps cool the gears a lot better as well. I have some Metalcloak skid plates. I actually have a full Metalcloak lift. It's their 2.5-inch game changer lift, except I swapped it out with 3-inch rock crawler springs. They have the triple rate springs and I just wanted a little bit taller stance. Underneath here I have the Artec Truss and Gussett kit. That's actually front and rear. So we've been truss and gusseted, as well as we have 513 revolution gears. I went with 513 gears because I wanted to future-proof this thing. So I got 38-inch tires on it now, which we'll talk about in a second. And you know, goals to get 40s, maybe 42s, we'll see. But I think even with 42s, 513s is gonna be a solid gear ratio. Next upgrade I did was the fender chop or fender gut, whatever you want to call it. But you need a bracket to hold it up. So I went with the Motobilt bracket. It's like $100. It's got the blinker light and as well. That gives me a little bit more clearance between my tire and my fender when I'm flexing out. As well as inside, I also have the Motobilt inner fender. I got the 38-inch Milestar Patagonia MT02 tires. I actually have an entire video on why I went with these instead of the Nittos. Doesn't necessarily mean they're better, but it's my mindset of why I picked these. Because when you're going mud terrain, 38-inch tires, you really only have those two options. But love them so far. They're great. They're affordable. Great on the rocks. Doing really good on the road as well. Let's see, those are wrapped around. So we got the Icon alloy. They're the Vector 5 wheels. Getting quite a bit of scratches on these here. Eventually might do bead locks, but for now they're serving me pretty well. These I really like. These are S&B filter, I guess, hood scoop intakes. So they take the fake intake of the Jeep Rubicon because those don't actually give you air to your engine. These do. They're open, flows right in, so it gets you a little bit cooler air into the engine, especially in Arizona when it's super hot. That helps. You can also cover it up. It comes with a cover. So if you're washing it or you're getting heavy rain or just a lot of dust in there, you can just plop those covers right over. But something pretty cool. I think gives it a little more tough look as well, at least a more unique look in a world where everyone's got the same exact hood scoops. All right, so these are the Squadron sport lights from Baja Designs. Got them at a 45-degree angle just to give this total side of the trail. And then they're in the, gosh, I gotta figure out what the name of that is, but it's not spotlight. It's one that throws the light everywhere. Forgive me, if you guys remember what that's called, let me know. But it's just really good for lighting up the entire side of the trail, and the lights in the front are more forward. So pretty good pairing there. This little number, don't know what it is, but I just get rid of that super tall antenna, something short, which is nice. This is just cosmetic. Right here, I got the Motobilt rock sliders. They're welded on, not bolted on. That was really important to me. Again, the Gladiator, you're gonna be hitting a lot of rocks, which I already do. You're gonna want something welded on so it doesn't take that bolt-on slider and bend it into your frame, because I've seen that. Then it's got the rocker panels. Love the look, but again, it also kind of helps. I mean, you can see I got like some scratch marks on there already, so any of that protection just really helps. So I don't know if you guys can see, but right here I got the full belly pan skid plate from Metalcloak. It is fantastic. Again, between the sliders and that, those are like gonna be your first upgrades you want if you have a Gladiator. It is fantastic, it's super thick. I went with this instead of aluminum. One, it's cheaper. Yes, it's heavier, which is kind of sucky, but I just think it's gonna hold up a lot more compared to the aluminum. Again, that's just my opinion. I haven't used aluminum. I've heard it's a little stickier on the rocks, but I've had a really good luck with just sliding right over the rocks on this thing, and I've done it a fair amount so far. Another upgrade right here is the Metalcloak Sway Bar bracket reinforcement, I guess. So this thing is really cool because I've heard that a weak point is the rear sway bar bracket, and it can just bust off if you flex too hard. So I got this preemptively. I haven't had issues with my stock one because I got that one pretty soon, so I'd highly recommend getting that one as well. Another pretty cheap upgrade. So I've also got a Jeep, gosh, I have no idea how to say the word, Tanu, but it's the Trifold hard shell cover. Love this because I actually have my spare tire under here. I got my tools and like air up equipment all in here. So it keeps the rain out, 90% of it. It's a little leaky on the edges, but not a huge deal. And honestly, it doesn't rain in Arizona a lot, but that's a great cover. So another upgrade I did was get like a rock crawling AFE exhaust. So this one is really cool because it's higher clearance, it's tucked back away. You can't really see it from the back side of the Jeep, so it looks a lot nicer, but it also gives you better ground clearance. All right, so the last upgrade I've got is the rear ARB diff cover. Guys, that is everything I've done to this Jeep up until this point. I hope you liked the video. Please let me know if there's any parts that you have questions about, you know, maybe a little bit more in depth of why I picked them, or if you think I should have gone a different route, because I'm going to keep upgrading and changing this. Got a few things on the list coming up. Got PSC, I'm going to do a frame chop front bumper, probably an anti-rock front sway bar. Got a couple things in the works, but please like the video. That really helps me grow this channel, and subscribe for more. See you guys soon.